In the last video, I set up stable virtual camera in a Docker container, but there are a few things I wasn't happy with. The Ubuntu base image I chose was old. There was a public link thanks to the Grandad magic, which just seemed to increase your attack surface. But you couldn't run the local server from a local address, so you had to go through the public link anyway. This video fixes those things in two different ways. So follow along as Grandad does stuff. Okay, so the link that I'll have in the description below will take you to my GitHub repository, Grandad Does Stuff. The previous one was stable virtual camera, and the Docker file from that uses this old Ubuntu 20.04 image. I'll not go through that again. You want to be in this new directory, stable virtual camera 2, which has all the fixes for everything that we need. So let me just close everything and get started with that. There's two directories in here. There's an upgrade, which will upgrade that Ubuntu 20.04 image, remove the public link and let you run it locally. But at the end of that, you're still going to have an old Ubuntu image. Maybe you don't care. The second one will set up the brand spanking new Debian image with Python in it, and go through the whole process, that two-step process we did in the previous video from scratch. So let's go through those two things one at a time. So let's start with the Docker file here. So this says from stable virtual camera 100. So that's the thing we created in the previous video, the stable virtual camera directory there. All I need to do is expose the 7860 port so I can actually get into the server. The server then needs to know that it will accept connections from any URL or any IP address rather than just its own local host address. And that just enables me to map through from the host to the internal running container. There's a Docker compose file there. Once you've run that Docker file, or built that Docker file, it will create this new image, stable virtual camera 101, and it will run the demo gr.py file with the no share option. That will stop it creating the public link, and the 7860 port mapping here means I should be able to get into that using 7860 address. All of that will take moments to run, and I need to go through the README file on this and walk you through that. So do Docker build -t stable virtual camera 101 dot, that will build the image, then Docker compose up, then you'll be able to access it from the 7860. Now this will take moments to run because it's not doing any of those big downloads or anything like that. So I'll get rid of the public URL link and get you local access to it. That's the easy route. If you want to get rid of that Ubuntu image and do something from a clean base, I'm interested in doing things from a Debian base because I'm going to do some Raspberry Pi projects later on, and Raspbian, which is a Debian-based Linux distribution, is kind of pretty much a default, not the only, but kind of a default one for Raspberry Pis. So I just want to get a bit more familiar with that. So this second option here we've got is in directory 02 Debian, and basically it's a replay of what I did in the first video, but it's slightly slicker. So first of all, we started from a Python 3.10 image, and that is built on Slim Bookworm. And as of time of recording, Bookworm was the latest Debian image around. I've got a start loop here, so when we start this up to do our install with things, it will just sleep. It just makes it a bit easier. I think it's actually in the compose file as well or something similar. Right. The user and prerequisites, I run user add, bin bash a user called user. I echo a password into the change password thing. I do an apt update, apt upgrade, an apt install of Git, which I need to actually clone the repository later on, and a couple of libraries which aren't in the base image up here. I then change to that user, change to that user's home directory. These three lines here are the ones that come out of these GitHub repo, stable Stability AI stable virtual camera, and we'll just run through. And as in the previous image, I have to update the Pydantic version for some reason. Didn't work out the base one. Also, when I ran this, it did suggest that if I added that pip install, it would make the download of the Huggingface images quicker. It may make it a few percent quicker. I can't believe it's going to give me any magic on that. It's still 11 gig coming down, so it's going to take a few minutes. As in the upgrade option, I've exposed 7860 and changed the Grayo server name so it'll accept any host coming in. Let's have a quick look at the Docker Compose file as we go. As in the previous video, it's in two halves. There's the first bit where we build it and the second part where we run it. So let's look at the build bit first. So it's got an image name there, which comes from the Docker file. It's got a container name, which we're going to use to actually log into it. It's got this tail -f, which means when we start it up, it will just spin forever till we kill it off. And it does map the NVIDIA GP through all the way through to the container. When we come to install all the Huggingface stuff, and that's all done, and we've committed that image away, to actually run kind of the normal version of it, we're going to have created a stable virtual camera 2, but not image, called stable virtual camera Debian. You'll have the command python demogr.py, which starts up the Gradio app with the no share option. And again, I've exposed the ports and I've exposed the GPU. So let's have a look at the README for all of that. Let's go to the top of the README. So here we are. I'm using the Debian base image. So we do a Docker build -t stable virtual camera build Debian dot. So that gives you that image name that I use in my Docker Compose. Let's show it up here in this first one here. So virtual camera : build Debian. Then we start right, that Docker build process is going to take about 10 minutes. My machine's not shabby. I've got a 300 meg internet connection. Took about 5 minutes to build the image, but then it took about another 5 minutes for Docker to actually save and shuffle the images around once it had finished building it. So it's about a 10-minute build, that one. Docker Compose up, stable virtual camera build Debian. That's the name of the thing. So that's got the code on it for the image name. That's got the dash in it. So that matches to my service name here. So virtual camera build Debian. That'll come up in seconds. It's just a container. It's got some stuff built into it from before, but we just start a container up with a dummy spin service so I can actually access it. So then we're going to Docker exec into that. So that's the container name, which we had in the compose file. I'll jump back to that. And just run a bash in that. Then we need to cd to the stable virtual camera, run this login command and put the Huggingface token in. So let me just show you again how you get the Huggingface token. Here we are, Huggingface. So if you come over here and click on your profile, having logged in, of course, edit profile, you have access tokens. You can create a new token. I'm just going to call this delete me. I'm just going to delete it straight away. And we only need to set the read permissions, and I can create that token. It gives me it here. So you just copy that value and paste it in where it says enter your Huggingface value here. So done to that, and I'll just delete my delete me token because I did it an hour ago, it says, with my stable virtual camera Debian token there. But it says add token as Git credentials. You can say no to that because we haven't got the Git credential helper installed. Then run the command demogr.py, no share. And you have to wait quite a long time. It's 11 gig download. For me, just check my timings on this. It's 7 minutes. then you'll get an output that looks like this, where it wants to create the public link and says you can get info on that. So once you see all these URLs with the local hosting, you know that server has actually done all its downloads. You can then exit out of the container, but don't stop it. So Control C will stop the running process. That's your Python demo.gr.py command up here. Then you can exit out of the bash shell and return to the host machine. But that image will still be running because we've got the spin command in it earlier. And then we're going to, as we did in the first video, docker commit stable virtual camera build Debian. That's the name of the running image to stable virtual camera 2.0.0. So it'll actually save that image away for me. Docker compose down will take down the running service, and then we can do a docker compose up stable virtual camera Debian. And again, that's got the dash in it. This has got the version number in. So that's the service name, that's the image name, and they're linked together in the YAML file there. So I will just start that up. Oh, I've got to do a Docker login apparently. And while that is also running, let's get Task Manager running. And this is my GPU performance. As you can see, it's something starting on this. It's starting to pull some memory in there. So it is mapped all the way through. So there's utilization 64% because it's loading up all those models. So I guess it uses some of the bandwidth to do that. Start using this. So my request here is localhost 7860. So pull that up. I can do pick an image, pick a different one to what I picked before, car one, pre-process, render. That's the way doing stuff now. If I come back to my performance, which will be good, and I can do that. Bear with me. We have Task Manager. Here we are. It's got some 3D stuff happening up here. So that's my card being used. It's filled its memory up 93%. So that's everything mapped all the way through on base Debian image, all the way through to running on my GPU. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed the video, got some use out of it. Sorry for some of the patchy editing during the process. If you've enjoyed that, do consider liking and subscribing. Hope you get some more regular updates for things over the next few months and the channel gets started for real. Until then, take care and enjoy yourself.